kind of like this new one, honestly. It looks very fun. It's very busy. It's like a shirt Tim would wear.
They're doing it just because he's not part of LATAM anymore, so they want him to be his spiritual successor.
There we go. We got it on the screen now. It's like a...
Oh, wait, I don't have it up.
I can't really see it. I don't know if it's like faces. It doesn't look like flowers.
It really does look like the sort of like grandpa jersey, right? It's like
grandpa jersey.
It's how they're appealing to the geriatrics, which I suppose Tim is one.
I'm not too sure. Apparently, it's a very famous artist and the limited edition or something. So you maybe just insulted a very famous artist there, Gio, but it's going to be okay. Don't worry.
Is it an insult for old people to like your work?
I'm sure it's aimed at more of the Zoomer audience, you know?
No, it is cool. It is cool. I do like it. I always appreciate it when orgs go for something a bit different with their jerseys. Although, that said, I'm not a fan of the old NIP jerseys where they actually look like pajamas. So,
right, okay.
You know, NIP, you got to up your game now. FaZe Clan are winning the jersey war in this game, and so as a result, you've got to win the actual game. Make up for it.
I'll have to see if the jerseys are going to make a big difference or not here. FaZe obviously wanting to make them lucky jerseys straight away and bring them home a big, nice win. Now, the bans, again, worth going over. We did see a Clash ban sneak on through there. NIP not afraid to bring Clash when needs must. So he's going for a bit of a direct counter on that one. Aside from that, everything else pretty par for the course. Pretty standard stuff. Nothing really too unusual. We are going to see NIP starting off here on the defense. They go downstairs for their first objective. Downstairs into the church and Arsenal. Now, it's a point, Gio, that I was going to bring up if we had the time in the pre-show. But it was looking over at the ratings and the stats for the top 10 players inside of the BR6. Now, Astro currently holds the top spot for rating off the second stage. However, out of that top 10, there are 3 players from NIP in there. So it would suggest that the consistency is on the side of NIP, whereas FaZe have that big standout player in Astro that has really performed well in the start of this stage. So it could be, again, something to start thinking about, that, you know, FaZe, whilst they are a very successful team, sometimes do rely a little bit more heavily on that individual performance.
Well, one of the things that we spoke to Cameraman about in the interview last week was he said that Astro, when they're really feeling it, he can be a bit out of control, because we saw Astro take a few plays after some great plays from FaZe Clan, but he would maybe get a bit overzealous and step forward too far and find himself getting killed. So given that he is such a huge heavy hitter for FaZe Clan, we need to see some of that discipline come in from him this week, because that did let FaZe down on a couple of rounds when they were playing on Oregon last week. Now, there's the shot drone from Astro just sending a message to the Jaeger, and Muzi actually receives a ton of damage, immediately followed up by likely one of the other FaZe players, and he's had to back out from behind Generator and get himself into church for safety.
NIP are really showing a lot of respect here to FaZe, in that they're not roaming at all. They had players on the staircases, but that was really about it, and they've given up a lot of that map control, and they've given it away to FaZe for them to sort of do what they like with, but they still have to try and push on through. And, well, if you come up against Psycho, it's always going to be a tough time. Bullet, he's going to get himself taken out there. Now, the floor can be used in kitchen, as a lot of that has been opened up by Cameraman, so Astro has got a couple of lines of sight to be dealing with. He's going to have a rough idea as to where Psycho was, given that Psycho was the one to get the opening kill. Nobody inside of Dirt Tunnel at the moment for NIP. Sorry, Kamikaze is inside of Dirt Tunnel. Now, he could be held there from the hatch, but the smoke canisters are going to come in and provide a little bit of cover, enough so that Souls can sneak on through. This is a very standard plant being attempted here by FaZe, but what about that for a C4? It seemed to follow Souls. So that's the diffuser cold on the ground. 20 seconds left remain. Cameraman trying to push in through the main corridor. He eventually is shut down as well, and Muzi has retreated. He's got the information. He knows that somebody has dropped that moto, and instead of taking the challenge, he's keeping himself alive. There's only a few seconds that do remain. Cyber, however, was managed to find the kill over onto Kamikaze, or did manage to find the kill onto Kamikaze. But Muzi played that perfectly, keeping himself alive there. So crucial.
Part of me does wonder why, even though Muzi relinquished the position in blue, FaZe Clan didn't capitalize on that and actually have part of the push come in from that direction. One of the big problems, of course, was the fact that there hadn't really been a full clear of Armory, and that's how that C4 managed to land onto Souls. And that was really pivotal for the success of their round. They were looking for him to make the plant. Now, FaZe Clan continued to try and push in through from main stairs and Moto, which is very one-dimensional. It's only coming in from one side of the map. You haven't really cleared out any of the defenders on the side of NIP. It's very hard to try and get them into uncomfortable positions, which you can punish and capitalize upon if you only have one side of them. And when you're getting kills like that onto someone like Souls, you are severely limited for your options in how to rectify that situation. I think that's a problem that FaZe Clan found themselves in then, because even though Cyber survived the drop down from Moto, he was still stuck between two different defenders. Muzi could still end his life right at the very end of the round. So, yeah, not a bad round. It certainly could have been played much worse from FaZe Clan, but I think that was a problem.
It comes down to that opening kill that Psycho was able to get by shutting down Bullet. He shut down the Zafir, and Zafir always plays inside of blue. Then he couples it with the C4 kill onto Souls, and at that point, it's almost GG. It comes down to a 1 versus 1, sure, but it's heavily favoured that that NIP are going to come away with the round there. So this time, bit of aggression. Muzi downstairs in the garage. Just down Bullet. Poor old Bullet. 2 rounds, 2 opening deaths here. I don't suppose he's getting targeted, but he's certainly turned into a little bit of a bullet magnet. Muzi has moved his way downstairs and is now looking to challenge onto that dirt tunnel as well and just let him know that he's there. Kamikaze takes down Cyber as things appearingly start to fall apart here for FaZe. Cameraman, he will find the down through the soft wall. Maybe a bit of intel there assisted him, but goes for the swing. Does finish the player, will be traded. Souls, we've seen a minute, and he is the last player standing for FaZe. And well, for how long? Kamikaze, he's going to swing there onto CCTV window. Found himself 2 there, basically from the site. Because a lot of the work and a lot of the hard work was done off-site. Speedrun.
That's exactly what I was going to say. How much of that round as a percentage do you think FaZe Clan actually spent on the site?
None.
Yeah. It was really odd. I mean, it was kind of a... Look, the thing with FaZe Clan is you have to remember that they are this team that just can't resist doing creative strategies. They did it a bit more last stage. We've seen them tone it down in stage 2, but you're starting to see it creep in a bit in that round. You know, the fact that they had so much presence downstairs, everything seemed to be happening in the basement or on main stairs or whatever. It's like, guys, you're attacking onto CCTV cache. Like, aren't you supposed to, like, open the server wall or pressure garage or whatever people have been doing for years? It was just a very bizarre approach from FaZe Clan, and I'm not going to knock it. Clearly, it was something they thought through a lot and thought was the best idea, but NIP, they just had total control of the top floor, not just the site itself, but with Pino and Muzi being able to run over towards main stairs as well and secure whatever kills were seeking their way up the stairwell. There was just no real challenge onto NIP or the stronghold that they had over on the east side of the map because FaZe Clan simply weren't interested in attacking onto the site itself.
Well, gym and bedroom now the defensive choice for NIP. Muzi, how much more utility do you think you could cram into the top of these cache stairs? 2 shields, 3 ADSs, 1 Muzi. How will it end? Find out in the next 2 minutes.
Of those things, which is the scariest utility? Because I'm gonna go with the 1 Muzi.
The 1 Muzi is the problem there, isn't it?
He's not gonna be leaving those red stairs anytime soon. don't even bother.
It's probably the safest place to be. Regardless of what is sort of thrown your way, you're going to be pretty okay there. FaZe can either choose to play into that, or they can try and choose to ignore it and work around it. Now, it looks like they may be going for the second option. Bullet this time will find the opener, but no, Cyber takes him down. A nade there coming in as a TK. It's going to mean that we are 3 versus 3 here. Cameraman, he's in construction. He's going to dip himself back out. Missed a couple of shots there in onto player, through into Cash. Astro looking to try and join him, but you can barely keep up with the kills that are happening that quickly. Player drops and a player dies. It really is as simple as that here for NIP. We kind of mentioned, Gio, that FaZe might be about to feel a little bit of a wrath from NIP based on how they played yesterday. They're not going to be happy with that result against Black Dragons. That isn't the siege that they want to be playing, and it really does seem like they've flipped it on its head. They've come out here and so far they've looked pretty unstoppable.
I will be honest, I really like it because when NIP was struggling in stage 1, and whatever the reason may be, whether it's because they were legitimately saving strats G2 style, or if it was just because they were actually having a hard time, after every single loss, you didn't see this kind of rebound where they looked incredibly clean and incredibly prepared. It was never that cut and dry. Whereas here, yeah, sure, we're only 3 rounds in, but so far it looks like NIP have not come in to mess around. You know, they know exactly what they're going for. And I actually mentioned this off camera before we came into the game, but one of the things I had written down in my notes for today was I would ideally like to see, or NIP rather, would probably ideally want to go to Clubhouse, because it is the only map that you can really point out that they are significantly better than FaZe on when you have a look at their record on this map. So they're definitely making the most of that fact, I think. And that's not to say that FaZe aren't good at this map or that they haven't prepared well for it. But obviously, when you have the track record that suggests that you have a level of comfort on this map that supersedes your opponent, yeah, it's going to give you an advantage.
Well, Astro has awoken. He's taken down Pino there. What feels like the first time FaZe have been able to win that opening engagement so far. Playing on the IQ, already got himself in upstairs. Looking to pressure now in through Cash. Going to get a bit of assistance as well from his team. Now, the site is downstairs. Previously, we didn't see NIP roam at all on this site. It was round number 1, and they just wanted to lock one in and get it in the book. They did just exactly that. Now, this time, round number 4, they've got a 3-round lead. We're starting to see them get a little bit more aggro out there on the roam. This time, it hasn't worked out for them. Pino being taken out could be a little bit of a problem, as it was a very close round when we saw it played previously. It has forced NIP to play a little bit more aggressive. Psycho going for an outside C4 there, just dipping out a kitchen briefly. Is going to get back down safely, but almost got caught out in the cross. His FaZe were just a little bit too slow to react to exactly what was happening there. Still, no more significant progress has been made by FaZe in terms of kills, but they have got map control. They've got into kitchen, and they're going to be able to now start opening up that hatch. Oh, beautiful
nice
stuff
kill.
there from
Yes,
Souls.
straight through those floorboards onto Julio. That is really nice stuff. And Muzi's going to be looking up trepidation now, whether there are players above him. Gets ready with the C4, but I don't think it's going to find anyone, as no one is remaining in the kitchen. Kamikaze kind of just has to hear all the gunfire going on around him as he sits in Dirt Tunnel, very similarly to what he did last time. And Muzi finally finds the fight that he was looking for, but instead he's going to back off because he can't quite land the headshot that he was seeking. Now, FaZe Clan, they do have the man advantage still, looking to push in. They didn't have the pressure on blue that I wanted them to have when they came to this site before, but there is someone at the top of blue stairs now. Remember that Muzi got pretty much forced out from behind the generator last time they were playing here because of the evil shock drone of the Twitch. No shock drone in play this time, and he's going to be holding on to that space as we head into the final 15 seconds. What? from?
A little bit of a lineup there, I think, on the side of NIP, giving a collateral away to Cyber. He made his way into Moto, and by his own good fortune was able to pick up a couple of kills there. A much shakier round from NIP, losing out on that roam game early on. Getting picked off through the kitchen floor as well, as Souls was not only able to get the hatch open, but able to impact quite heavily in terms of what was going on the site. Still, a round for FaZe, a much needed one as well.
It was like... suddenly everyone was dead. Cool. Well, for FaZe, that's very cool. They're happy with that one. Sufficient pressure coming in through the kitchen hatch as well certainly helped, because Muzi couldn't really return it in the way that he wanted to, but... I mean, the kill onto Julio... That was good. Spicy. So now NIP are going to be moving back to CCTV and Cash. Now, I really would love to see... Now, this is a big ask, Ollie, but I would love to see FaZe Clan touch the site at least once.
That's a crazy... You're asking for a lot there, Gio.
I know that this is a lot, and I have no right to ask it of them, but I just think it would be wild. Just try something, like, just try something different. I think it'd be cool.
Try and, like, open up East Wall, maybe.
Oh
Garage
my god,
control.
Ollie, don't even go there. Yeah, FaZe Clan, whatever the hell they were doing back on round number 2 wasn't it. So much focus downstairs and getting caught out in these altercations on main stairs as well. It was really bizarre, and not one person ended up touching the site. We got a nice look at it through the server window towards the end, so they got to outdo that.
I think they were just scoping it out for this time, Gio, because already we're seeing a direct approach here. Bullet, what a great frag over onto Muzi. As the wall is being mavericked open, he's able to pick somebody off on through Astro. A double kill as well as he takes down Julio. Psycho now looking to try and shut him down, but Astro, he's having one of his days. He's having one of his rounds where he is a little bit unstoppable. Kamikaze this time is going to be the player last alive. After only seeing a minute and 10 seconds, he will refrag onto Kamikaze, but look at what it's cost him. It's cost him nearly everything. Now, he can hear a Malusi Banshee, but that's going to be destroyed pretty quickly after the recent changes. A Toxic Babe canister is going to chunk down Bullet some, but not enough. Kamikaze still now trying to hold off, as he's managed to stay alive for a lot longer than I originally anticipated. However, he has just been droned. A pre-fire has ensued. Bullet has picked up that final kill. FaZe, they look like they're going to level things up here.
Yeah, no, that was really good. And especially the presence from Astro over in Logistics had such an effect on NIP. And it's so interesting to me as well that these are two of the top teams that we have here in Brazil, in the world, in fact. I mean, when it's NIP, it is the top team we have in the world. And yet, you know, you think of a CCTV and cash attack, and you think of spending your time clearing out rafters, or the time that you take to open up construction wall, or whatever it might be, a lot of clearing. But NIP and FaZe Clan seem to just make it like TDM. And yeah. I mean, it's more well thought out than that, because you have to consider the positions that you're going for. You have to consider how to force the defenders out of the space that you want to take as the attackers, which is why Astro's position in Logistics was as important as it was. But it's just, it was very gun heavy. That was a first-person shooter.
Really was, and that's sometimes what we have come to sort of see when these two big teams face off. Let's see if we do get a little bit more plant focused maybe when we see NIP switch over onto the attack, but for the time being, this is the final round as the sides sit. A chance for NIP to end out at a 4-2, but we all know what a 4-2 did to Furia earlier on, just saying. Doubt that it'll go the same way for NIP, but FaZe have really got their heads back in this game, and despite it running away with them at the start, they've been able to salvage what was looking like could have been quite a quick game, and instead they've brought themselves back into it. It's going to have done a lot for the mental on the side as well. Final round now to attack downstairs into Church and Arsenal.
So last time NIP came here, FaZe won. It was the first round they took back in round number 4. A lot of that came from the play that happened from this very room of kitchen. Best room in the house. Don't know how you feel about that, Ollie, but...
It's the heart of the home.
Absolutely. Some unimpeded droning going on from Oh, I cursed it. He got quite a lot of information with all the droning that he was doing, though. They know that a lot of this first floor is entirely clear and they can start working with. Bringing a Twitch this time, which they actually chose not to do last time that they came to church, even though they did the first time. I wonder if they were expecting to come to church or if they were expecting NIP to make the full cycle once again and head back into gym. Regardless, shock drones in play, not an IQ, which was something that worked well for FaZe Clan when they came here back in round number 4, but that time NIP were bringing a Valkyrie. Muzi once again has found his position in blue, but just absolutely torn apart by Astro. Using that distraction, the player on blue stairs, coordinating it to rid NIP of their human Uzi.
Astro not looking to fall victim to that same trap that Psycho set for him either. Psycho's going to be holding that long angle this time. Previously, he played the Valkyrie in that position and he had the C4 to try and work with. Instead, Psycho's going to get taken down by Souls. It's an engagement that's going to happen vertically as Julio tanks pretty much a full grenade. Astro picks up his second kill of the round. The Toxic Babe canister. It is not going to be enough at that stage. A flawless round from FaZe. As soon as they decided they were hitting that execute, they knew exactly what they needed to do. NIP, again, not with any significant roam game. Just sort of being like fish in a barrel.
So, 3 really dominant rounds in a row from NIP, followed by 3 really dominant rounds in a row from FaZe Clan. Is this not what we expected from these two teams, Oliver?
It is. I think with the way that the first 3 rounds went, it's kind of shocking to see NIP just get steamrolled there for 3 rounds in a row. And there's not really a polite way of saying that. They did just get absolutely steamrolled. So the swing at the moment is certainly in FaZe Clan's favor, especially with the way that Astro's stepped up in the last couple of rounds. He's found himself some really important and crucial kills. Currently sitting as the kill leader inside of the lobby. And now they get the defense. Now they can go downstairs and carry that sort of run of good fortune on a little bit. You do worry about NIP a little bit. You worry about if they're going to be able to hit that bounce back from this. And obviously they are. They're a very capable side. And you can see with the lineup that they're bringing that they're not really taking any chances either. Triple Heart Breach, Ace Thermite and a Maverick. Really concentrating on making sure that no stone is going to be left unturned here and they're going to be able to get everything that they wish open.
Hey, look, they watched the last game. They knew the risks. They knew that they had to bring Triple Heart Breach. For those of you who didn't see the last game, we had a team who decided to just bring a Maverick, have their Maverick be picked off, and then, as you can imagine, a really flimsy attempt at an attack onto the basement. So the next time they came to basement, they reinforced it all up with a Triple Heart Breach. Oh, it wasn't that they just brought a Maverick, was it? It's they brought Maverick and Thermite. And Thermite, given that he only has 2 exothermic charges, can't really do much. And they used 1 to open up Jacuzzi. So regardless, Muzi gets the opening kill. And I start there for NIP on their attack. So yeah, NIP, they will have watched that last game and been like, we're not going to run that risk.
Triple Heart Breach, I always find there's very few downsides. Especially with what you can bring elsewhere. Like if you bring a Zephyr and an Iana, Triple Heart Breach is not a problem at all. Because you've got nades, you've got intel, you've got burn. You've got pretty much everything that you need. And that's really the direction that NIP have taken us in here. Muzi finding that opening engagement as well. Bullet, a player that, whilst he's had a good couple of rounds in the last 3. He's still finding himself involved in that opening engagement and regularly on the wrong side of it. Will be taken down here as the Valks. That's going to be one of 2 C4s down. Still, not going to be too much of a concern. There are a lot of impacts available here for FaZe, so I'm wondering if they're going to try an impact trick, and the sound there over my right shoulder tells me that they have tried to impact trick onto that kitchen hatch. It still should be able to be opened. But of course, with the Hibana ban, that's the risk that you run, is that you do have a lot of utility that is eaten up in terms of getting that hatch open. Now, Psycho, this is an area that he really struggled with when defending. That Astro pushing in through that oil pit and down the blue corridor, and yet he has found himself in a very similar position, and he's joined not only by Muzi, but Kamikaze as well. As he gets a kill, dips himself out, keeps himself alive, has a chance to gather a little bit of intel here, and he's still got a couple of grenades. Souls is going to be deep inside of Ash Rush spot. His cameraman looks to make his way back into church, but there's a question as to whether he's even going to be able to do so. Does find a C4 kill, though, onto Psycho through the soft wall, I might add. I'd like to see how that looks. He did actually land it just at the join of the wall and the floor. But still, is it going to be enough? He finds himself as one of 2 players that do remain. Muzi, he picks off Astro on the rotation. Cameraman, he has a bit of live information. He's on a triple kill. The plant is going to be going down. Pino doesn't have a great deal of health. Cameraman allowed to make that rotation. Long-range engagement. Never ideal for the SMG-11. Pino, however, he's going to hit that one with ease. Manages to land his shots. Picks up the round. NIP, a little bit of a change of fortune there.
A lot of work being done by cameraman in that round, but the fact that NIP's push was coming in both through blue as well as dirt tunnel as well kind of meant that the positions that he was in weren't really ideal to deal with that. There wasn't strong denial that was present on dirt tunnel in the same way that NIP played Kamikaze when it was them on the defense. So it was kind of unimpeded for them to walk on through, get that control of Armory. And even though there was that beautiful C4 kill, which honestly, I kind of thought that he was throwing out the C4 to open up the line of sight into blue so he could try and get some shots through into blue. I didn't expect it to kill anybody. But even after that beautiful C4 kill, you only really had access to the players who were trying to come in through blue, and they also have access to you in return as well. So that entire side of the site could be held very strongly by NIP, and they could get the plant down relatively easily, even though cameraman got a couple of kills before that actually happened. I think if FaZe Clan do go back down to church a little bit later, I would like to see them have more to stop a push coming up dirt tunnel, because I think that was a bit too easy for NIP to succeed in that.
FaZe are going to be mixing things up here. They could have gone back downstairs again, but instead have chosen to go up to CCTV room and cash. Again, NIP's lineup really changed too much. The addition of the Twitch there, Psycho is going to bring this time. Previously played on the Iana and had the nades, but in this instance, he's going to have the Twitch drone. Already, I'm hearing that east wall be opened as arguably record time. Not even seen 40 seconds, and east wall, I believe, is going to be opened. So, makes things a lot easier from this point onwards for NIP, and they can focus now on getting this drone work done, figuring out where people are playing, and nade going to be bounced quite beautifully there by Julio. It isn't, however, going to land the finishing blow. It's not going to do any damage. I believe Cyber took 5 damage or so in that engagement, but Muzi, he has the heads up. He's able to aggressively challenge there onto Astro and take down one of the top fraggers on FaZe.
Good start. Astro has been a big player for FaZe Clan, of course. Julio just trying to hold on to this potential rotation into Lounge. It's a very prominent place to play from, especially for someone like a Goyo, for example, which FaZe kind of actually decided to bring because it's so useful for getting C4s from down below. It's something that Team Empire really like to do, is play a Goyo down there. But Alas, Cameraman is not actually in lounge, so it doesn't really matter. Psycho takes a whole bunch of damage, but Bullet will be the next one to fall, in fact. And that further weakens the defense for FaZe Clan. You stand in the line of sight, you're going to get shot, but I suppose the same thing goes back for Muzi as well.
Cameraman again, left in the 1vx. 50 seconds left. He does have a C4, so we could try and deny a plant, but is he going to be able to keep himself alive? Maybe caught out on the drone there. Muzi being dead shows that someone could be watching that drone. We'll find the down onto Kamikaze. A C4 over the top could net him one as well. In fact, it is just going to confirm Kamikaze. As NIP quite rightly didn't rush to Kamikaze's aid there. What it has done is surrendered the diffuser cold, and now players from NIP are going to peek one at a time. This is now very doable here for Cameraman. It could be quite a monstrous clutch if he's able to pull it off. He's going to be getting pinched, though, as the plant's going down by Psycho. It's being held by Julio from outside. Shots are exchanged. Julio finally picks himself up a frag. A round that got a little bit closer than it needed to be, but still a round that will go down as an NIP win.
Yeah, and those opening kills from NIP, I think, certainly helped, because especially on a site like CCTV and Cache, there's so many different ways that you have to face if you're the defenders. And that sounds like a really basic and simplified explanation, but when you think of the number of different ways that you can aggress onto that site, whether it's from below, whether it's from across being server wall, across being construction, across being garage, across being server window, when there's just 3 defenders, that are left on the site and you're going up against a full thing of attackers, it's really hard. And FaZe Clan never actually regained that man advantage. It makes it so difficult to be able to watch every single potential angle. So now FaZe Clan have returned back down to the basement, and first thing that I notice is they've brought an alibi. And while it is Astro who is reinforcing Dirt Tunnel right now, I really want to see one of the prisoners be left at the end of the Dirt Tunnel, because they've also brought a Legion. Yes, thank you. So, and it would be nice as well if there were a mute jammer over towards there as well, because the big thing that I said is they left Dirt Tunnel wide open, and this time they've actually brought some utility that could be directly used to prevent Dirt Tunnel being a taken channel by NIP.
We will see how big of an impact that has. There was the obvious pressure from Psycho as well that came from Oil Pit and Blue, and well, that isn't going to be manifested in the same way this time, in that Psycho is playing on the Twitch, where previously he was the Iana, so he can Gemini clone himself in as well as drone, and obviously have the nades to work from as well. So it is going to play out to be quite a different round, especially with that pressure and that presence of utility inside of the Dirt Tunnel. It does cut down the options here for NIP as to what they may be able to achieve, but initially, angles being held, as it is a bit of a trademark really from NIP that they will always try and get a couple of rotation kills and try and open some nice early angles. Psycho knows that there's going to be at least one player inside of construction, but he doesn't actually have any of his teammates up here to really assist him. But Astro, what are you doing? Goes for the jump out and is quite rightly punished.
This is the problem that Cameraman spoke about before, is that sometimes when FaZe are feeling themselves a bit too much, Astro can become a bit out of control and needs to have the leash put back on. And something like that is exactly what you will find. These players from FaZe Clan are just dropping like flies. So much presence upstairs, and I think this is essentially going to make the downstairs very easy to infiltrate if you're NIP, because, I mean, at this point, it's just souls.
I mean, what really is there to say? You feel sorry for Souls in this situation. He's just been chilling, vibing on the Legion, and he obviously gets shut down. Pino comes in, finds the final frag. Just an unnecessarily aggressive round, and it's a round that puts NIP onto match point. So it's not like it's round number 1 and it doesn't really have any huge bearing onto the game as a whole. We've essentially at this point gone 3 rounds NIP, 3 rounds FaZe, now 3 rounds toward NIP again, and this is looking to be the 4th. There's no indication from the way that FaZe have defended so far that they're going to be able to come away with this one. And you really got to start questioning some of those hyper-aggressive plays.
Yeah, but Ollie, remember, on half one, NIP looked super dominant on the first 3 rounds, and then very suddenly it switched. So...
Psycho's bringing the Ying to ensure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, well...
That's what it is.
Fine. I mean, we don't know that yet. We don't know that that's how it's going to turn out, but it could. It could, I suppose. We'll see how FaZe Clan play, and it is very important to me, important to FaZe Clan, that Astro, you just chill out a second. You've been playing really well today. Don't throw it down the drain. Stay indoors. Please.
It's not very gamer to go outside, is it?
No. That's exactly it. No going outside.
No touching grass.
No touching grass. I can't think of any other kind of trope.
Well, let's see if Astro is able to keep himself safe and sound here and now. He's going to be playing on the Cade. Unsure at the moment as to where those Cades have been placed. I would imagine maybe on the east wall, maybe on the construction wall, potentially bottom of garage. And we can see there's going to be one on the bottom of garage. Already progress being made by NIP is when the rounds are going in their favor, they do move with a certain aura and a certain confidence around them. And you get the feeling that that's what's going on here. We can hear the Maverick opening up the bottom of the garage as well. Psycho.
Stay inside.
Almost. Almost. Don't even go near the windows.
Oh my god. All right. Well, still everybody is standing. And just in case anybody's watching this and being like, wow, she really wants FaZe Clan to win. I don't necessarily. I don't really care who wins, but I want this game to keep going. You know, I don't want it to be over here. I want FaZe Clan to actually put up a decent fight, and they have shown so much promise of putting up a decent fight, and I don't want them to just throw it away by standing in front of or jumping out of windows. Just take all the windows off of the map. Don't do that.
Especially when NIP is so keen for those rotation kills as well. You know it's something that they're going to be watching.
Yes, exactly. NIP are very vigilant about that kind of thing. And you just, against NIP, you can't get away with it. Ingo, the first set of Candelas, there's the smokes too, but Souls doesn't actually, he doesn't get the first kill onto it, and he gets punished in return. That leaves Garage totally open. Just 2 players remaining of FaZe Clan.
Astro and Bullet, the last 2, and as I say, Bullet's name, he gets taken out of the picture. Astro, highest rated player currently for stage 2 inside of the BR6, now in an ace clutch. Can he do it? He's droned, everybody knows where he is. It's going to be a swing, and it is going to be Psycho to shut him down. NIP there, proving once again that they are the best team in the world as they take down FaZe over on Clubhouse, 7 rounds to 3, not dropping a single round on the attack. Sure, they maybe had a bit of a shakier defense, but no one's going to remember in that one. FaZe there, taking the match.
FaZe didn't take the match, Ollie.
Taking the L.
You got that. Yeah, FaZe Clan had a harder time on that game, to be honest. A lot of their defensive decision making was just frankly questionable, and I think it looked like there was such a lack of discipline on much of their defense, and it was really rather strange.